We're going to start with a new chapter today, the urban world. So we're going to read the first paragraph very quickly. Urban world. Anjali, good morning. Yes, Anjali, good morning, beta.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, dear. How are your UTs?
Ma'am, good.
How are the UTs?
Yes, ma'am.
How was your UT unit test?
Ma'am, not so good.
Okay, not so good. You were a late admission, now, so you had missed out quite some part, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
That was the reason, probably. So, which one was the best?
Some computer.
Actually, computers went best.
Yes, ma'am.
You were prepared for computers, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Computers is your favorite subject.
Not favorite.
So basically, computers went the best. And which was the worst?
Ma'am, economics.
Okay, economics was the worst.
Yes, ma'am.
Beta, you joined pretty late, no? So obviously, you may have some issues understanding things with economics.
Yes,
Economics is not all learning now. There are a lot of concepts also. So obviously, you must have had a problem. We need to. Any previous videos did you see, beta?
yes, ma'am.
Did you see the previous videos for economics also?
Yes, ma'am.
But of course, a lot of concepts are there, graphs and all also, no? In economics,
Yes, ma'am.
that is why it is difficult. Okay, got. Let me ask Keshav, he has joined us. How are the UTs? Let us ask Keshav also. Few minutes, he is joining us. Yes, Keshav, good morning. Keshav Pandey, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
बच्चे better be regular children. I'll be sending the PDF of question answers on your personal windows today of the previous chapters. But I want all of you to be regular now. It's high time. It's almost half of the year. I'll be speaking to the parents now. If the children are not coming, at least for your main subjects, you're not coming. This is bad beta. These are your core subjects. And if you miss out a class one day, obviously you will not understand anything which is being taught next day. And that is why you don't find interest in what is being taught. Today you had first 2 periods free. I had posted a message yesterday. The first 2 periods were free. I had posted a message yesterday. You know now the first 2 periods were free.
Yes, ma'am.
So then you have such few classes, beta. And then I think, Keshav, you don't have the timings for classes. Because before the break, when I had a class somewhere else, you were trying to join the meeting. So if you don't have the timings of the classes, let me know. Maybe this is the problem. Most of the times I've seen that you join, try to join when I post the link, but link is posted before beta. 15-20 minutes before. This is the problem. You people better be regular. How are your UTs now? Keshav? How
Yes,
are
ma'am.
How are your unit tests? Were they good? Very good, excellent, bad? What?
Ma'am, they are good.
They were good. Which one was the best?
Ma'am, political science.
Political science. I know you're quite interested in political science. I got to know. And which one was the worst?
Ma'am, I don't think so. Any of the tests which I was going to do is worst. It's better or good.
Be ready for your history UT, the one you missed out. I want to know from you. Good morning, dear Anushri. When can you give your unit test? Accordingly, I'll plan and prepare the question paper. Let me know when you can give the UT, the first 3 chapters. You discuss at home also and then message me. I'll message principal sir. Because you have
Okay,
missed
ma'am.
out your history UT. So the first 3 chapters, I'll prepare a question paper for you. Let me know before the PTM is there. You better appear for your UT so that we can declare your result. Otherwise, your result will be withheld because of one UT. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Anush, how were your unit tests?
It was good.
Good, beta. Children, listen now. If there is a dire emergency, please drop a personal message to me that ma'am, today I'll not be, or write on the group also, I'm absolutely okay, that I'll not be able to join classes. But otherwise, please be regular. These subjects are your core subjects. History, political science, and economics. Please do not miss out these classes. They are going to be the founding stones of your future. Am I okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'll be sending the question answers PDF to you right from chapter 1. And you can learn 8, 8, 10, 10 questions every day. And you can ask me your doubts also because you people have missed out a lot. Once you come for 2 days and then you again don't come for 2 days, you don't know what is happening. History is like a movie. If you miss out 20 minutes in a movie, you don't know what is going on and you are not interested because you don't know the previous part of the story. So it is something like this, beta. Try to be regular. So I'm starting with the next chapter, the term nomadic empires. Now, listen, beta. If you look at this word nomadic empires, it is very contradictory. What do you mean by contradictory? Yes. What is contradiction? Contradiction means two things or two viewpoints just opposite to each other. If I say Rahul is a good boy and you want to give a contradiction, you will say, no, ma'am, Rahul is a bad boy. So just opposite. This is what we call as contradiction. So when we talk about nomads, who are nomadic people? First, tell me who are nomadic people. Yes. Who are nomads? Any idea who are nomads?
Ma'am, who does not the group of person who does not have a particular place to live, they travel all around the.
Yes. Very good. Nomads are people who do not live a settled life, as your friend has told you. You must have seen now, road ke side mein we have tents, people live there, and after a few months you will see those tents are no more there. So they keep moving from one place to another place. Such people are known as nomads. What are they called?
No, ma'am.
Nomad.
So when we read this heading, this is very contradictory. One side we are talking about nomads. We are talking about people who don't settle down at a place. They keep moving from one place to another place. And on the second part, we have used the word empire. Empire to kaise possible? Empire is only possible when people settle down, they accumulate lot of wealth, material, money, they spread their areas. Only then empires are made. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this topic, the name of the chapter is very contradictory. One side we are talking about people who don't settle down at all. They keep moving from one place to another. And then we are using also the word empires, where empire would actually mean a very settled life, material location, stability, economic structure. So when we talk about empires, all these things come to our mind. Now this topic, if you see, is very, very contradictory. We are going to study about this chapter only. When we studied about the 4th chapter in the Central Islamic lands, we talked about that people, they came from Bedouin nomadic tradition. There we talked about one nomadic tribe, and that was Bedouin tribe. Which tribe did we talk about nomads in Islamic culture? Bedouins. B-E,
Bedouin.
Bedouin nomads culture. And they had come from Arabian Peninsula. Where did these Bedouins come from?
Arabian Peninsula.
Arabia.
So in the 4th chapter, we discussed about one nomadic group. They were known as Bedouins, and they had come from
Arabian Peninsula.
Arabian Peninsula.
Very good. I want everybody to speak up. Now in this chapter, we are not going to study about Bedouins beta. We are going to study about another group of nomads. I hope everybody knows what are nomads.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
And this group of nomads are the Mongols. We are going to study about which nomadic group now?
Mongols.
Mongols. And they came from Central Asia. They had come from which place?
Central Asia.
Their leader was Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, just see the spelling. I'll put my cursor over here. Just see the spelling. Genghis Khan. Who was the leader?
Genghis Khan.
Very good. Very, very good. And they were earlier moving, you know. First they went to Europe, then Asia, 13th and 14th century. They kept on moving from one place to another place. Relative to the agrarian-based imperial formations, agrarian-based means agriculture-based. If you talk about China at that time, it was all agriculture-based. So the neighboring nomads of Mongolia may have inhabited a humbler, less complex world. China and Mongolia, if you see closer to each other, China is having an agrarian culture, means people are doing agriculture. So you think they are settled or they are nomads? People doing
Ma'am, they
agriculture.
are settled.
Very good. Beta, dekho, anybody who will do agriculture will have to settle, no? They cannot keep on moving from one place to another place. And just next to close to China, we had this place, Mongols, these nomads. They did not have this kind of a world. They did not live a life like the Chinese were living. Okay? They were different. How they were different? Because they kept on moving from one place to another place. That means they were nomads. So this chapter, we are going to study how the Mongols under their leader, who was the leader?
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. How these Mongols changed, beta. They were earlier nomads. How they made their own militaries and how they made their own government. All these kind of changes which came in nomads, we are going to study. That means the nomads are now going to make their empire. That is why the name of the chapter is
Nomadic Empire.
Nomadic Empire.
Nomadic Empire.
Very good. Let us have a few questions from page number 1 now. People who do not settle at one place and keep moving from one place to another place. What are these people called?
Nomads.
Nomads.
Good. In chapter 4, we studied about a nomadic group. Which group was it?
Bedouin.
Very good. Bedouins.
Bedouin.
Bedouins. Bedouins came from which place? Bolo. Bedouins came from which?
Arabian Peninsula.
Arabian Peninsula.
And in this chapter, we are going to study about which tribes, which kind of nomads?
Mongols.
Mongols. Very good. They came from which area?
Central Asia.
Central Asia.
Who was the leader?
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan.
The Mongols inhabited very close to which country? Which place?
China.
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 Very good. In China, people mainly do agriculture. So are they nomads?
No, ma'am, they are settled.
No, ma'am. They are settled.
So we are now going to study how this nomadic tribe, under the leadership of which person?
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. Now they are going to settle down. They are going to become more powerful. They are going to have their own government. They will have their own military. So now nomads are going to establish their empire. So basically, we are going to study about which nomadic tribe in this chapter.
Mongol nomadic tribe.
Very good. Now, the next question comes that where did we get the information from? The steppe dwellers themselves. Look at the steppes. Steppes are grasslands, beta. In geography, this word is often studied grassland. Okay? And dwellers means rehne wale, people who live there. So these nomads are actually which dwellers? What do we call these nomads as? Steppe dwellers. Because they live in which areas?
Grassland, yeah.
In green grassland.
They were not literate, so they produced no literature. We have not got any books where they have written about their culture. We don't have any written material about them because they had no literature. They used to not read and write. So where did we get this information, beta? So the knowledge of nomadic societies, it comes from chronicles, travelogues, and documents produced by city-based literatures. People who were living in nearby areas, travelogues. What are travelogues? What are travelogues? Supposing I send you to Nainital, and when you come back, I say, okay, write about your experience, your adventure in Nainital. Then you will describe your journey in Nainital. You're
Ma'am,
staying.
No food.
Yes, beta. That is what we call as travelogue. Travelogue is giving the details about the place that you visited. That is what we call as travelogue. Supposing you go to Disneyland, and then you come back and you write all about your experiences there, how you went, what happened there, what kind of people were there. So this would be known as a travelogue. Everybody knows what's a travelogue?
yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So there were some city-based people who were living in a city, settled life. They probably visited these nomads and they have written about them. But these authors produce extremely ignorant and biased reports of the nomadic life. What is biased? Who is a
ma'am,
biased?
one-sided.
Very good. A person who favors or disfavors. Janbujke. We say na the empire is biased in a cricket match. Supposing there's a player who out ho jate and the person empire does not say the person is out. तो हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Oh, this empire is so biased. At times the students say the teacher is biased. Then they feel the teacher is favoring somebody or not supporting somebody. So here, all those people who wrote about the nomads, beta, they were very biased people. They did not tell us the true picture. Okay? What did they write? The imperial success of Mongols attracted many literati, but when these people became powerful, when they became successful as an imperial means what? Now they're establishing themselves. Then literati, many people started writing about them. Some of them produced travelogues of their experiences. Some of them wrote what? What is the word I told you when they visited the nomads?
Travelogue.
Travelogues.
Very good. There were some people who went to these nomadic areas and they came back and they wrote about them. So they wrote about them, we call them as travelogues. Others, what did they do? Beta, see. There were others who stayed there. They went to a nomadic tribe and they started staying there and they started serving the Mongols. They took Mongols as their masters. So we get information basically from two types of people. One who went from the city to the nomads culture, they came back and they wrote about them. So they wrote about, we call them as travelogues. There were another group of people who went to those areas where Mongols lived and they started living there only. And they considered the Mongols as what? Their masters.
Master.
Good. So who were the people? Let's talk about Buddhists, Confucians, Christians, Turks, Muslims. There were so many of them. Either they went and came back and wrote travelogues or they stayed there only and took them as their masters. We know that although not always familiar with the Mongol customs, many of them produced sympathetic accounts. They were not very familiar with the Mongol custom, because they were not Mongolians. They were either Christians, they were Muslims. So they were not very familiar with the customs, but still they wrote accounts means they wrote about them. They even wrote eulogies that challenged and complicated the otherwise hostile city-based tirade against the steppe marauders. Understand, beta? Hostile means what? Without any reason, If you dislike somebody, you have a negative feeling for somebody, we say you are hostile. What is the word we use?
Hostile.
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 Those people who used to live in the city, they had a very hostile attitude towards these tribal Mongols. They used to feel that these people are very bad, they are very cruel, they are very barbaric, they kill people. So this was a hostile attitude of the city people. The city people had which kind of an attitude towards Mongols?
Hostile.
Hostile.
Hostile. But those people who went and lived with the Mongols, they did not have an hostile. They had a sympathetic kind of a feeling. They had which because they stayed there, they saw that the people were not actually bad. So they have written that they were sympathetic people. The history of Mongols therefore provides interesting details to question the manner in which sedentary societies usually characterize nomads as primitive barbarians. Sedentary society. Sedentary means settled beta. So those societies which were settled people, they considered nomads as what? Barbarians. What did they consider the nomads as?
Barbarians.
Barbarians.
Understand this word barbarian. This word barbarian actually, we get it from a Greek word barbarous. What is the Greek word?
Barbarous.
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 And it meant the Greek people, they called barbarous anyone whose language they felt is like noise, not accepted. Like they were non-Greeks. Supposing somebody comes to India and speaks some language which we don't understand and they keep speaking loudly and very quickly, we don't understand. And we'll say what a noise they are making. So if somebody's normal conversation, normal language looks like a noise, we say this is barbarous in Greek language. What do we call it as?
Barbarous.
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 Another meaning of barbarous, according to the Greek language, people who are like children, unable to speak, unable to reason, means they don't have brains, also develop cowards. You know what are cowards? What are cowards, children? Hindi mein bata
Ma'am,
dijiye. Absolutely okay. If you
Darpo.
tell me Hindi also, I'm okay with it. What does the word coward mean in Hindi?
Ma'am, Darpok.
Darpo. Very good. So they said इनकी भाषा भी कैसी है? That they are making a lot of noise, they don't have brains, they are not able to speak, they are coward also, and they are effeminate also. They are effeminate. Effeminate means not a man, typically like a woman. Okay? Womanly. Effeminate, understood the meaning of the word effeminate? Not manly. They are luxurious, they like to live a good life, they're cruel. What are they? I hope you know what is cruel, children.
Yes, ma'am.
The barbarous word, all bad things about a person, we can use the word barbarous. So you know what is cruel. Slothful. Slothful means lazy. Slothy word we use in English also. Slothful means lazy, greedy, unable to govern themselves. They are so illiterate, so lazy, so coward that they can never have a government. They should always be ruled by other people only. This was the opinion about the nomads of whom beta, which societies? Sedentary societies. What is the word we have over here?
Sedentary societies.
Sedentary. Sedentary means those people just settle life where they don't move from one place to another. They are sedentary societies. Now tell me. Let me ask a few things from here. We had two types of opinion. We don't have any information about Mongols written by Mongols. Why? No information. Did the Mongols read and write?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So we don't have any information which was written by Mongols of the Mongols, but we have types of information. One is the information we have got from people who traveled, who visited these nomadic people and came back and wrote about them. What are they called? This information is
Travelogue.
called.
Travelogues. Travelogue.
And there was some other group. Travelogues always spoke bad about these nomads. But there was another group of people who went and who stayed there and took nomads as their
Masters, Mongol masters.
Very good, very good. They considered the Mongols as their masters. Did they write good about them or did they write bad? Those who stayed there.
Ma'am, they wrote biased about
They
them.
wrote biased.
Biased. They were mainly biased about them. Very, very partial when they were writing about the Mongols. They considered them as, what is the word we had used just now?
Barbarians. Barbarians.
Barbarians. Barbarian comes from a Greek word which means
Barbarous.
Barbarous.
can you give me any 2, 3, 4 meanings of this word barbarous? I discussed so many words with you just now. One is cruel. Now you tell me. Yes.
Cruel, cowardly, lascivious, greedy.
Very good. Greedy. Girls, could you give me a few more words which mean barbarous? We just now did so many words. Barbarous. Girls, tell me any 2, 3 words. They were cruel, they were illiterate, they were lazy, they were greedy, and they were not able to rule themselves. So, you think they have a good opinion about them or a poor opinion about Mongols? All these words tell you what? Poor opinion, or they were very impressed? Oh, they are very good.
Ma'am, poor opinion. Ma'am, poor opinion.
The most valuable research on the Mongols was done by Russian scholars. So many people have written about the Mongols, but maximum information we get from Russian scholars, beta. It was written somewhere in the 18th and 19th century as a Tsarist regime consolidated its control over Central Asia. At that time, Russia was being ruled by Tsars. The kings were known as what? Tsars. Regime, yes, beta. Regime means what? The rule. So that time the Tsar rule was there, and in Central Asia, the rule, who was ruling there?
Ma'am, Genghis Khan.
Over here in Russia. Tell me, Russia, the Tsars were ruling. Who was ruling?
Tsars. Tsars.
When we talked about this tribe Mongols, we said they came from where? Central Asia. We talked about which Asia?
Central Asia.
Central Asia.
Very good. In Central Asia, we have Russia also. So in Russia at that time, who was ruling?
Tsars.
The Tsars.
Tsars
And
were ruling.
how did we get this information? See, colonial military. Colonial, like India was a colony. The Britishers attacked us. They tried to keep us under them, and we were there as their slaves for many years. So Russia, under the rule of Tsar, tried to attack the Mongols. So travelers, soldiers, merchants, scholars, they used to all go to these Mongolian areas. So whatever they saw over there, they used to come and write. Because Mongols could not write about themselves, we always get information from other people. In the early 20th century, after the extension of the Soviet Republic, now the Tsar was a very powerful ruler. He was extending his republic. Soviet means Russia. Russian Empire is spreading. A new Marxist historiography argued that the prevalent mode of production determined the nature of social relations. We have another theory which came up, Marxist. Have you heard about Karl Marx?
Yes, ma'am.
So the views of Karl Marx are Marxism or Marxist theories. Now, when Tsar was ruling in which century? 18th and 19th century. He was again a cruel ruler. He was spreading his empire. But in the 20th century, the ideas of Karl Marx became very popular in Russia. And this idea was that we should determine our social relations in a different manner. It placed Genghis Khan and the emerging Mongol Empire within the scale of human evolution. Now, with new ideas coming up, see, earlier people considered them as what? A colony. They don't need to be treated properly. But in the 20th century, Karl Marx ideas came up. And these people said they came up with a new thought that Genghis Khan and all these Mongols, we should consider them as humans. What should we consider them as? Humans. A transition from a tribal to a feudal mode of production. Okay. Now there's going to be a transition. Transition means what, beta?
Ma'am, change.
Very good. Very good. Now transition is going to take place. A tribal society, you know what is a tribal, is going to change into a feudal mode of production. They're going to become feudals. I mean, going to be rulers now. From a classless society to one where there were wide differences between the lord, the owners of the land, and the peasant. Their society was classless. The nomad society was what? Classless. Matlab, there were no classes. That yes, he is the lord, he is the farmer, he is the soldier. There were no groups in the society. Earlier nomads, there was no group. But now transition is going to come. Change is going to come. Even the Mongol society is going to change. How is it going to change? We will have people who own the land, and we will have the people who will work for them. They will be known as peasants. What are they called?
Peasants.
आप सोचो ना, when Mongols were moving from one place to another place, nobody was the landlord because nobody owned any land. So there was no differentiation between rich and poor, landlords, landless people. There was no differentiation there in Mongol society because they did not settle down at a place. So there was no point of having कि इसके पास ज़्यादा land है, इसके पास कम है, ये landlord है, ये farmer है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था because they did not have a settlement. But now transition is going to take place. Transition, you told me, is what, beta?
Ma'am, change.
The change is going to come, and now their society will also have classes. Okay, we are going to have classes in Mongol society also. Despite following such a deterministic interpretation of history, excellent research on Mongol languages, society, and culture was carried out by scholars. Although we have such a deterministic interpretation means conclusion. बहुत ही उल्टा पुल्टा. Somebody says good, he says bad, very confusing. But we have got a lot of research on Mongol languages by scholars, especially these people, beta, Boris and Vladimir Storm. You just need to remember these two names. One is Boris. No need to learn the entire name. Just Boris is enough. And Vladimir Storm. Tell me the names of two people who have actually given us real information about Mongols. One is Boris and the other is?
Vladimir. So,
very good. Very good. Okay. Others such as Vasily did not quite toe the official line. There was another person who wrote about Mongols. He was Vasily. What was his name?
Vasily.
But he did not do this, we cannot believe him because he did not follow the entire official line. Now, what is happening over here? Let me talk about over here. Okay. Now, Russians were very powerful under the Tsar in which century? A quick revision. Tell me very quickly. Yes, beta. We were talking about this. Earlier in the 18th and 19th century, the Tsar was ruling. And in the 20th century, they were very cruel to Mongols. But in the 20th century, they started treating Genghis Khan and Mongols as humans. Earlier, though, they did not believe they are human. They used to feel they are animals only. So there was a negative feeling for Mongols. But the true culture of Mongols, we have got to know from two people. One is Boris and the other is?
Vladimir.
Yes, very good. Let's carry on. Now they became little sympathetic towards them. Sympathetic, positive. They have written good things about the achievements of Mongols under Genghis Khan. They have written that Genghis Khan was a very good ruler. How these Mongols, they became good. They got a lot of achievements, but got him into trouble with the censors. Got him into trouble means what troubles he faced. We are going to study this also. So we have got enough of information from the scholars in the 1960s. When did we get maximum information about the Mongols? Which year?
1960s.
Very good. 1960s. All information about Mongols was published in 9 volumes. 9 books were written. 9 books in 1960 by Khurshid. Okay. And we get maximum information about the Mongols. And बहुत late मिला information. It was in which year?
1960s.
Good. There was one more problem. We had so many information about Mongols by different people, but they were all written in different languages. Okay? Chinese, Mongolian, Persian, Arabic, Italian, Latin, French, Russian. So many people wrote about Mongols and they all wrote in different languages. Sometimes the same material was written in 2 languages. For example, the Mongolian and the Chinese version of the earliest narratives of Genghis Khan. Let us talk about what they wrote about Genghis Khan. If we read about the Mongols, about Genghis Khan, and we read about the Chinese, okay, the name is of course different. You will find that both of them have written very different things about Genghis Khan. Somewhere, one language says Genghis Khan was very good, he was very efficient. Another language talking about Genghis Khan says no, he was not at all good, he was very inefficient. Similarly, if you read about Marco Polo's travels, okay, Marco Polo also went to Mongol, they also do not match. What I'm trying to say, so many languages, beta, we got information about Mongols. See the languages: Chinese, Mongolian, Persian, Arabic, Italian, Latin, French, Russian, and all of them give us different information. Very confusing. If you just read about Genghis Khan only, you will find that so many different things are written. Somebody takes him as a great leader, somebody says he was bad. So there are so many books. For example, this book, The Secret History of the Mongols. Okay, Turkic terminologies, Persian languages. They have written about these nomadic people, but they have written different things. So this is just the introduction of the chapter. We'll be starting the chapter tomorrow. I hope you've understood. We are going to read about which nomadic tribe in this chapter?
Mongols.
Mongols. They came from which part of the Asia?
Central Asia.
Very good. Central Asia. Who was the leader?
Genghis Khan.
Yes, Genghis Khan. So now we are going to read. We are going to actually start the chapter. This was just the background. We'll be starting the chapter tomorrow. This was just the background of the chapter. That we are going to start with people having different opinion about Mongols. Did everybody have the same opinion or they had different opinions?
Ma'am, different.
Yes. What are nomads, children? Who are nomads? Which group of people are called nomads?
Ma'am,
Yes.
who moves from one place to other?
Very good. So these Mongols were nomads or lived a settled life?
Ma'am, they were nomads.
Yes, they were nomads only. So in this chapter, we are going to read about the tribals, nomads, and who were the which Khan? Genghis Khan. What was his name?
Genghis Khan.
So when I start the chapter, please be present in the class and you should know that we are going to read about the nomads and we are going to read about the leader, Genghis Khan. Okay, beta, just 30 seconds left for the class. You can leave the class. We'll join.
Thank you, ma'am.
God bless you, beta. God bless.